Okay, so I feel like we're in a giant therapy session, and it's my turn to share. Um, my biggest concern right now that I feel is that what Lucasfilm will do concerning Mark's backpedaling, etc. Probably they might blame him for trying to warn us. I mean, he did warn us. I mean, he was vocal about it. It's been said 1,000 times now, but Ryan should have listened when he said something about it. On set or wherever they were when he first addressed the script. It's ludicrous. Just a quick response to, I guess Hello Greedo saying this thing where of course characters are going to change. Of course they do. And we all are for that. I'm all about change. I'm all for the characters changing and evolving and going on their journey. The problem is that you have to still, regardless of change, you still have to convince the audience that it's still that person. You still have to convince people that it's Luke Skywalker. And I think a majority of at least people that I've seen weren't convinced. We weren't convinced that it was him. That's the problem, is that, I mean, yeah, it's been 30 years, et cetera, he's been through some stuff, but when you don't believe that it's him, that's still a problem. That's still a problem in the storytelling. You're not convinced it's Luke at all. When everybody says that's not Luke, well, it's because they have a preconceived notion on what that character would do. You still have to have some bit of something left in it. Anyway. And what I'm mainly really worried about now is how Lucasfilm is going to react to this whole situation, the drop off and everything, and probably blame Mark or something. And it's like, no, they're to blame. And the biggest thing that I'm not a fan of is just Ryan keeps saying it. You keep pushing. His whole reasoning for this was to push new characters, and that's why I killed him. Blah blah. You have to. He wants to. The whole purpose for this film was to push the new characters. Fine, but you got to get your old ones down first. Anyway, get a grip on the old ones. Someone said it was that TLJ was a love letter to Luke. I guess that was maybe, but it's more of a violent breakup letter than anything. And a lot of people, I just noticed that a lot of people mentioned on Twitter that a lot of the diehard fans like me want junk food. No, we don't want junk food. Maybe there's a small sliver of people who want junk food who just want him to ignite the green and go crazy. That's all fine and dandy. It would have been fun, but we don't need that. We just needed Luke Skywalker, and not this pretend version. And this wasn't Luke, so I think that's the problem. We didn't want junk food. We just wanted a real heroic ending, and it was just so bizarre and sidestepped. And anyway, you can still have an inspirational hero and have a little junk food at the same time. I think everybody wanted just their childhood hero to become a hero once more before he died. People mentioned that Luke could have warned the Resistance instead of just going in exile and letting them deal with the repercussions. It's pretty stupid for him to just hide away and not like warn anybody or help anybody. And the horrible treatment of Phasma. I was a big supporter of the book. Delilah Dawson, she's fantastic. I love the book. I read it in just a few days. I just blew through it. It was amazing. It's a fantastic story, and it led me to believe that she was going to, take over or do something. She was going to be a bigger part of it, and that's a twist. Is adding Phasma into the mix and putting her into the power struggle. That's what's amazing. That would have been incredible and very unexpected, especially since for people who had read the book, I would have been anyway. I just would have been blown away. It's like it's like the only way to redeem what they did with Phasma. It's like just give us a video game or something of Phasma. You can play her in Battlefront now, but just give us a video game of Phasma, please, or something. Or another book or something. Those are the two video games. Kenobi and Phasma, those are the two that I would be nuts about. And I know that, everybody's fine with it. Anyone can be a Jedi. That's not my favorite. Like, this whole time, since Vader said, since Empire, it's been about lineage, whether you like it or not. Whether the people want anyone can, anyone can be a Jedi thing to happen. That's fine. But the problem is that it detracts from anything special that Luke was, or Ahsoka was, or any of these people that we hold dear to. It just makes them not special anymore. So, not a fan of Broom Kid. I guess that's fine, and that's probably what Rian Johnson's going. His trilogy is going to be about Broom Kid probably. But I don't care about that kid or any at all. Like I don't know. I'm sure it's fine. It was heartwarming, I guess, but people call it kind of a Disney ending. Rey is powerful for no reason. We all talked about this. This is a big, And about the junk food, it's like we could have had a little bit of both. Just a little bit of junk food. Just a little bit of that, I guess there was a little bit, but, Rey overpowering Luke on the island like she did, that was ludicrous. When she's, not really, supposedly doesn't know anything about the Force or whatever, just barely learned things. I liked Kevin Smith's idea that he would have Luke deflect all laser bolts from the AT-ATs back at them. He didn't have to do anything crazy, just deflect all the laser bolts back to them and knock a lot of them down. He doesn't have to knock all of them down. That would have been, I don't know, whatever. So that's my main, biggest concern. Is what's going to happen with Mark. Like, I hope he's okay. I hope you're okay, Mark, if you see this. I love you, man. You're the greatest hero to me. You've always been the greatest hero in my life. You are, as someone was saying, it's there are some people who grew up with like Batman and Iron Man, and I think you grew up with Batman, but Luke Skywalker is a real hero that kind of transcends all of those. Don't get me wrong, I love all those characters. I love every Marvel and DC character. I just think that Luke was deserved more. Anyway, so I'm just hoping that you're okay, Mark. Or I hope Mark's okay, because I'm sure that they probably said something when they saw the huge drop off. Said something to him like, backpedal or say something about your, remarks about Luke. It's like, no, he said it to begin with, and we were all agreeing with him, and that's not the reason. Him saying that wasn't the reason why we're all, lashing out. It's because it was a huge misstep. That's what it is. It's a huge misstep. Anyway. A lot of kids just. There's a lot of even young kids that are like going nuts about this too. It's apparently, from what I've heard. I haven't seen anyone, but. And last but not least, I finally realized how the film made me feel. I finally realized how it's made me feel, and because it took, as I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's like, well, hopefully you will. I don't know. Hopefully you do. Maybe you don't see it, maybe you don't. It's like when I first got out, the first time I saw it, I didn't know what to feel at all because the emotion was sucked out of me. I felt empty, and this film has achieved something truly unique. I have never felt this way before. It removed emotion completely from me, and I didn't feel anything for Star Wars or Luke or anyone. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I didn't feel anything for any of them. And then like My Name is Simon was saying, began to grow sour. Started to kind of fester and kind of build this hate for the film. So I started to hate it. Anyway, I'm not a hater. That's the lazy term. But anyway, I think that's the biggest problem, is that Ryan was just aimed at killing the past. I get that. I get that you want to, kill the past or whatever. But the problem is that Star Wars has always been about lineage, about history, about these things. The Jedi book, like I'm probably in the way more minority in this, but a lot of people really like the Yoda scene still. Even the people who didn't like the film still like the Yoda scene. I thought the Yoda scene was fine, but I just think the things that he said were very contradictory. Page turners they were not, etc. Like, just basically saying that all the Jedi texts are just frivolous. It doesn't care. Anyway, whatever. That's neither here nor there. But the main thing is I'm worried about Mark. I hope that he's going to be okay. And he said it. He was right. He totally. He pointed it out. And it's like, you're not going to listen to Mark Hamill? Okay. Oh, Ryan's got a vision. He's got this thing that he's going. That's fine, I guess. I guess. Okay. But look what happened. And this is my personal opinion, but it's the worst Star Wars film yet. Compared to the prequels, I've always been a prequelist. I actually really enjoy the prequels, but and I just get past the moments of whatever. But this is just something that's been completely disrespectful to the character, and I think that's the big issue here, is that there's been nothing but disrespect, and as I can't remember who it was. I'm so sorry. I can't remember who. This was an abomination, and that's kind of what it is, pretty much. It's a great film. It's just not a good Star Wars film. Dismissing all the other films, all the other lore, all the other things that we've built up to know, all the stories we've read to lead up to this, everything else that it's like just tossing it out the window. And I guess that's fine, but for someone who's been knee deep in the lore for a long time, it's It's just no good. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. I really appreciate you listening. Thanks.